Alright, I need to tell you something right now that's going to completely change how you think about the next 2 weeks of weather. We're entering what I can only describe as one of the most extreme atmospheric setups I've tracked in years, and it's going to affect virtually every single person watching this video, no matter where you live in the United States. What we're witnessing is a complete transformation of our weather pattern that's going to bring everything from massive snowstorms to violent severe weather, all happening within the same time frame. The jet stream is about to do something absolutely wild, and when it does, millions of Americans are going to experience weather they haven't seen in a very long time. This isn't your typical winter storm forecast. We're talking about a multi-hazard event that's going to test everything we know about January weather patterns. Right now, we're still dealing with above average temperatures across much of the country this week. But here's what's crucial to understand. That warmth is actually setting the stage for what's coming. We've got two Alberta Clippers moving through over the next couple days, and they're bringing freezing rain and ice potential to areas that are sitting in this warmer pattern. That combination is dangerous, and I'll explain exactly why in just a moment. By the way, if you'd like specific weather forecasts for your region or city, please leave them in the comments. I'll answer them individually as time allows. Also, if you like the video and subscribe to my channel, you'd be very grateful. Now let's move on. The first Clipper is hitting this afternoon, bringing a messy mix of freezing rain, sleet, and snow across Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Michigan's Upper Peninsula. This continues through tomorrow, then shifts eastward to bring some snow to the interior Northeast. Meanwhile, the West Coast is getting absolutely hammered with storm after storm, dumping up to 10 feet of snow in the higher elevations of California, Washington, Oregon, Idaho, western Montana, and western Wyoming. That's not a typo. 10 feet of snow. Northern Wisconsin and Michigan's UP are looking at major snowfall accumulations, and there's going to be a significant amount of sleet mixed in with that heavy snow. This creates a dangerous glaze on everything it touches. For most areas, it'll make travel tricky, but not catastrophic. However, northern Minnesota stretching through northern Wisconsin could see legitimate freezing rain that brings actual ice accumulation. That's when things get really dangerous, especially as we head into Tuesday. But here's where this story takes a dramatic turn. The extreme weather pattern we're tracking isn't just about this week. It's about what happens as we move into the weekend and next week. That's when multiple storm systems converge, and that's when the atmosphere absolutely explodes with energy. Looking at the Arctic Oscillation, we can see that after this above-average temperature anomaly this week, a major cold front crashes through this weekend. That cold front isn't coming alone. It's bringing a massive storm system with it, and the collision between warm and cold air masses is going to create an extreme transition period that could last through at least the first half of January, possibly longer. The latest data shows something fascinating. The cold air is going to retract and stay confined to the northern tier of the lower 48 initially. But as we push into February, warm air starts advancing more aggressively, and the cold air continues retreating northward. Where the jet stream sets up is going to determine where all the cold temperatures concentrate, and right now, that jet stream is about to do something remarkable. Watch what happens with the Eastern Pacific Oscillation. Our jet stream along the west coast is still moving into an above-average anomaly, bringing warmer temperatures initially, but as we progress through January, that jet stream slowly deepens, diving further and further south on the western side of the United States. Meanwhile, the central and eastern portions of the country see the jet stream lift higher and higher. This transition is what's going to spawn storm after storm after storm. The deeper that trough digs on the west coast, the colder the air that gets pulled down with it. By the middle of January, we could be in such a deep trough that southern snow becomes a real possibility. If you're positioned just east of that jet stream, you're going to experience extremely warm temperatures. But that same jet stream configuration can drag brutally cold air deep into the south. The data shows this jet stream continuously dropping along the west coast for essentially the entire month. This setup is going to activate our subtropical jet, and that's when things get really interesting. As all these winds and this deep trough keep digging lower and lower on the western side of the country through this week, we develop a cutoff low over the southwest by Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Then a deep trough really digs in Thursday into Friday, and look how far east that extends. The subtropical jet gets fully involved because the trough goes so deep, while simultaneously, a cold front comes screaming down from the north. This brings frigid temperatures with it on the western side as it pushes through Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, eventually sweeping across the northeast. Then immediately after that, the subtropical jet stays suppressed, way lower than normal, all the way through the middle of the month. When you examine the tropopause temperatures, you can see that cold anomaly pushing through during early January. It comes right through with that storm system, bringing heavy snowfall behind it along with dangerously cold temperatures. Meanwhile, the eastern side sees much warmer temperatures initially. This pattern also generates strong winds, which means we're looking at severe wind chill values across large portions of the country. As we push past the 10th of January, watch how that jet stream digs even deeper, bringing the potential for a serious cold blast into the southeast before we transition back to another warmer pattern after that. But let's focus on one weather pattern at a time, because what's coming this week demands your full attention. The European model shows snow and freezing rain continuing through tomorrow, with ice and freezing rain potential lingering across Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Michigan. Those two Alberta Clippers I mentioned earlier are the culprits. There's also a chance for some ice and snow pushing into New England overnight Tuesday into Wednesday. But Thursday is when everything changes. That cutoff flow starts coming through with the deep trough, and that's when our storm system really organizes for severe weather on Thursday. Friday brings it across the Great Lakes and Ohio Valley, and the cold air comes roaring in right behind it. This is the extreme weather pattern I've been warning about. The collision of cold air with a powerful storm system that could bring major snowfall accumulations over the next 7 days. I've pulled up the ensemble models to get a clearer picture because we've got a timing issue that's complicating the forecast. This system is moving through while the eastern United States is still experiencing warmer temperatures and the western US is getting slammed with cold. Like I said, the central United States is going to be the battleground, and this could develop into a very significant snowstorm. Some of the ensemble members show a warmer scenario where the timing doesn't quite line up right for a major snow event. But a significant number of them show a legitimate snowstorm developing. Wherever those cold temperatures meet up with that trough and moisture, that's where we're going to see a big snowstorm materialize. Look at how many ensemble members are picking up on this signal. Some are even showing a deeper trough as the jet stream pushes further south. In the other 25 ensemble members, you can see that storm system coming across clearly, but you can also see that deep trough associated with the jet stream, and that cold air punch could drive everything further south than initially expected. We could actually see a more southern track storm right after that northern storm, because the jet stream is going to stay locked in that position for almost the entire month. Then our subtropical jet kicks in, and we enter a completely different weather pattern for the second half of January. The GFS model has 30 ensemble members, and it's showing the potential for snow and freezing rain, but also the possibility of a warmer scenario as the system crosses the central United States. You can see that uncertainty across multiple ensemble members. The Canadian model has 20 ensembles, and it's also showing an extreme weather pattern where a deeper trough could bring southern snow, but some members show it staying too warm across the central US. The European model is showing more confidence than the others that we will see significant snow, and it has more ensemble members to work with. But we also need to talk about severe weather, because this pattern is going to generate powerful thunderstorms as well. Looking at the dew point temperatures as we head into Thursday, we're seeing values in the high 50s and even into the 60s. But Friday into Saturday is when things really explode. That moisture surges northward on Friday and pushes toward the East Coast on Saturday, bringing the threat of severe weather with it. When you examine the CAPE values and lift in the atmosphere, which provide the energy for thunderstorms to develop and intensify, Thursday could produce a linear severe weather event. But Thursday evening into Friday is when it really ramps up, making Friday the more significant severe weather day. The lower level winds, which help intensify storms, show a strong signal for damaging winds and stronger storms throughout Friday. This severe weather threat spans from the mid-Mississippi Valley through the Ohio Valley, across the Great Lakes, and into the interior Northeast. We're looking at conditions favorable for damaging winds and tornadoes. Immediately behind that, strong winds associated with the cold blast will create dangerous wind chill values. The GFS model shows a similar setup Thursday into Friday, with a strong low-pressure system positioned over Arkansas. It's tracking slightly differently than the European model and shows the possibility of some snow across the Ohio Valley as the system moves through Friday evening into Saturday. Now, that's not the dominant forecast scenario, but the system's track is still showing some variability, where that cold front sets up is going to make all the difference in determining exact impacts. Looking at high temperatures for Friday, you can see the dramatic warm-up ahead of the system with the cold air diving down behind it, bringing those brutal wind chills. Saturday morning is where the models start showing different solutions. The European model has that deep trough coming through, bringing the cold air while severe weather erupts on the eastern side of the system. The GFS pushes everything further east with even colder temperatures, creating different impact zones. The European model shows wind chills arriving Saturday morning, while the GFS has everything shifted further east by that point. These are two distinctly different scenarios between the two major global models. With the European solution, Saturday still features freezing temperatures and dangerous wind chills across a large area. The GFS pushes that further east more quickly. By Sunday morning, that deeper trough brings temperatures in the 40s with significant wind chills. Remember, the northern half of the United States is going to be very cold Sunday. The GFS shows a similar pattern but shifted further east. Monday brings another cold blast with the European model showing harsh wind chills continuing. Sunday and Monday are the coldest days in this pattern. The GFS agrees on the cold but maintains that slight eastward shift in positioning. This confirms that a strong storm with significant severe weather potential and a powerful cold air mass behind it is definitely coming. The jet stream diving this low and staying there for almost the entire month means that as we get these cold fronts with the suppressed jet stream, we have the potential for southern snow events. This might be your only legitimate chance for that all winter, because I'm seeing a significant warm-up pattern developing afterward. This is the type of weather pattern that separates those who prepare from those who get caught off guard. If you're in the potential impact zone for snow, severe weather, or dangerous cold, now is the time to make your preparations. Check your emergency supplies, charge your devices, and make sure you have a plan for whatever your area might face.